Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. 38th favorite dad in the family community, Papa West, Jacob West, here for another fun, exciting episode of TMG Takes the Field, our weekly show where we talk about the NFL and college football and other sports as fun stuff happens. Um, I figure we'll go ahead and start off talking about MLB because this is off season right now. Free agencies going on. Um, Big news: Juan Soto played for the Yankees last year, signed a massive deal to stay in New York, but it's with the Mets and not the Yankees. Um, so it's an interesting signing there. A lot of other free agent signings have happened, but nothing huge. So we might talk a little bit more about the bigger names as that happens. NBA, there's some fun trade rumors going on with Jimmy Butler. We'll probably say something when that happens, and we'll talk a little bit more about NBA kind of closer to February when All-Star game, trade deadline, stuff like that happens. But college football, oh my goodness, exciting week last week. It was conference championship games. A lot of Most of these were win and you're in the tournament. Some of these were if you lose, you're out. So a lot of implications there, and obviously top four conference championships get a bye week. So huge implications going on there. So not a lot to talk about. Friday we did have Army and Tulane in the American Conference. Not Oh, come on. Why'd we go away from there? Um Army had a chance. They were ranked 24th. They just needed a lot to happen. And it was very much probably not going to be able to get in the tournament. Didn't happen. Army wins 35-14 to be the American Conference. Conference USA, we had Jacksonville State beating Western Kentucky 52-12. And then the big one as far as Fridays go, the Mountain West, Boise State beat UNLV 21-7. This was the um you win, you're in. For Boise State, they win, you get a first round bye. UNLV, you win, you're number 12. Um, Boise State getting the win. Ashton Genty, huge game, following a very Heisman performance this year. I doubt he'll get it just because of one person who played on both sides of the ball this year, had a better number season, is probably going to get it because of that. But Jetty definitely deserving with his season this year. And then we had the Friday games. So we had the MAC championship, Ohio beating Miami of Ohio 38-3. The Sun Belt, Marshall beat Louisiana 31-3. And then we have the big ones. The Dr. Pepper Big 12 championship game, we had Arizona State beating Iowa State 45-19. Arizona State punching their ticket to the college football playoffs with this win. And we'll talk about here in a second, getting a first round bye because of it too. The SEC championship game, Georgia beat Texas 22-19 in overtime. Big Ten, Oregon beat Penn State 45-37. Oregon claiming the number one seed overall. And then the ACC championship. This one was exciting. Clemson and SMU. Clemson came out swinging, getting a 14-0 lead, held a good 10-point lead for most of the game. But SMU came back, tying the game 31 apiece with just a minute left. Clemson doing everything they could do to get in field goal range and kicking the game-winning field goal as time expires, 34-31, and it was like a 50-yard field goal. It wasn't like a 20-30 easy. It was a tough kick. So that was a very exciting finish to a game. And then obviously we did have major news as far as the college football playoffs go. Let me try to find the actual bracket. There we go. Because I don't want to do it off memory. I could probably do it off memory. All right, so we have the number one overall seed is Oregon. Number 2, we have Georgia. 3, we have Boise State, and 4 is Arizona State. So these are your top 4 conference championships getting the first round bye. So we have, as far as the first round goes, we have playing Oregon, the winner of 8 versus 9, Ohio State and Tennessee. Taking on number 2, Georgia will be the winner of number 7, Notre Dame, and number 10, Indiana. Taking on Boise State will be the winner of number 6, Penn State, number 11, SMU. And then taking on Arizona State will be the winner of number 5, Texas, and number 12, Clemson. So very interesting kind of mix up there. SMU is kind of the big surprise. A lot of people thought because they lost the ACC championship game, they'd be out. But it really showed that the College Football Playoff Committee really favored conference championship appearances more than anything. Um, SMU having 2 losses. Their 2 losses were the 2 best teams that they played, BYU and Clemson. Alabama having a 3-loss season, not making it. My biggest issue with this bracket is while Clemson had 3 losses and SMU had 2, Clemson just beat SMU. So why Clemson is 12 and SMU is 11, I don't know. I would probably change that if I was them. But very fun first year of the 12 team playoff. Obviously, everyone's upset because it should be 14, 20. I won't be happy until we have 64. And then other news as far as college football goes. Couple weeks ago, I didn't say anything because I kind of forgot about it. But Mac Brown, legendary coach with Texas, spent the last 4 or 5 seasons with North Carolina. He had a meeting with the team saying he would not return at the end of the season, but he would finish the season coaching. Well, North Carolina has a new head coach. Did not take that long. Very surprising name. Bill Belichick will be going from his 1 year off, but coaching the New England Patriots to the North Carolina Tar Heels. So a very interesting move there. I can't wait to see Bill's first year in North Carolina and see just how that goes. But we're not done with college football yet this season. We do still have the bowls and the playoffs. We will still be talking about them. But we are going to go ahead and talk about the NFL. What a wild week it was. So the first game we will talk about is Thursday night. The Packers traveling to Detroit to take on the Lions. And oh my goodness, Dan Campbell, coach of the year. He's probably not going to win it because they traditionally give that award to the coach who exceeded expectations. And the Detroit Lions had very high expectations this year. But to be on your opponent's side of the field, tied game, 4th and 1, field goal range, to go for it. They got it, obviously. The Lions victorious 34-31. The Lions, very good at football. The Packers are also a really good team. Because they lost, we're not going to talk about them. And then we have our Sunday games. We had the Panthers traveling to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. This game got kind of scary. I'm not at that point where I'm going to say that the NFL is fixed. I might say that some refs might call games. We saw it with basketball. So before you're like, Jacob, you're a conspiracy theorist. Basketball referees would kind of call games one way to get an outcome. Kind of thinking that was what was going on here, as the Panthers were getting really close to winning. As soon as I heard Scott Hansen say that a better placed a $4 million bet on the Eagles to win, I was very scared at that point. But regardless, the Eagles did beat the Panthers 22-16. Saquon Barkley is the franchise leading rusher for the Eagles. He has the best season as a running back, getting very close to Eric Dickerson's season record. We'll see in the next couple of weeks what that does. Next, we have the Saints traveling to MetLife to take on the Giants. Saints getting the win 14-11. This was a very, very good game by Brian Breesy. Not rookie. I believe this is his second-year defensive tackle out of Clemson. Very great performance. Had a block field goal that would have tied the game. A lot of really good hits on Drew Lock too. Biggest thing out of this one, Derek Carr probably suffered a season-ending injury right towards the end. No reports as of yet, but that's kind of looking like what it's going to be. Also, with their season being over, it's you don't know what they'll do. The Browns traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Steelers getting the win 27-14. Falcons taking on the Vikings. Vikings getting the win 42-21. Buccaneers beating the Raiders 28-13. Jaguars beating the Titans 10-6. Jets came back and beat, or Dolphins came back and beat the Jets 32-26 in overtime. Seahawks destroyed the Cardinals 30-18. The Rams beat the Bills. Bills tried to come back, but were unable to 44-42. And then the 49ers beat the Bears 38-13. Sunday night, we had the Chargers taking on the Chiefs. This was a Chiefs win, and they win the division. It was a very close game. Chiefs kicked a game-winning field goal that doinked, almost missed, but they got the win 19-17. And then our Monday night game, a couple Simpsons players played some other Simpsons players. I know Marge scored a touchdown. The big bull, I think he's a bully guy. I don't watch The Simpsons. He got a nice little rushing touchdown. But the Bengals beat the Cowboys 27-20. So it was a very interesting week for the NFL. And as everybody knows, Tato and I are having predictions who we think's going to win. I was up, but Tato had a great week. Tato, I'm going to bring you in. Oh, you just turned off your camera. Tato, you got every single game that we differed on correct.
Let's go.
I went 6-7 last week. You went 9-4. That brings our overall records. I'm at 139-69. You're at 136-72. So it is now a 3-point lead that I have. You have been clawing your way back. So let's see what we can do this week. Real quick, some news. We're going to talk about every team clinching. We're going to be talking about every team getting eliminated. So we did have a couple teams adding to that list of no longer playoff eligible. The New York Jets. Somebody on this call, I'm not going to name who it is. It was me. Had the Jets playing in the Super Bowl. That's not happening because the Jets are eliminated from the playoffs. I almost made Tato choke because of that comment. The Browns also have been eliminated. The Jaguars and the Titans both are eliminated from playoff contention. And then as far as the NFC goes, the only NFC team that is eliminated is the Giants. They were eliminated last week, so we had some teams close to elimination, still holding on for dear life. But the Eagles and Lions both clinched, and like we said earlier, the Kansas City Chiefs did clinch the AFC West. I believe this is the 9th straight year that they have won the division. But Tato, any thoughts on the week? Any thoughts on Bill Belichick going to the Tar Heels?
Yeah, it does seem interesting to me. Now, I'm not much of a college cat, but as I understand it, they aren't a super powered franchise right this second. At all. Like, yeah, they're kind of middling at best.
They play in the ACC. I don't know when the last time they won the ACC. I don't know when the last time they were in contention of winning the ACC. They are very, very middle of the road as far as that conference goes.
And obviously, that is very much a basketball school as well. Yeah. I don't know how much that detracts. Like, are there schools that are very good in multiple sports, like of the highest count? Like, are there any schools that are great at basketball and football?
Yeah. If you think of the football powerhouses, they might have a good year here or there in basketball, but not major. And same with college basketball. A lot of your major basketball teams are smaller schools like Marquette, Syracuse. But you have Duke, North Carolina, who are not football powerhouses. I know you have the occasional Texas has a good year here and there. Oklahoma has a good year here and there. But your major powerhouses in both sports don't really aren't really the same.
So yeah, it makes me wonder what what Bill like. I mean, he might just want to coach kids for the sake of coaching kids. Maybe I hope like that'd be cool. NIL it plays into it, I'm sure. But again, I gotta imagine a lot of that money is going to basketball players. So I don't know how much like I don't know the logistics of NIL that much. But I do think maybe that helps with Bill going to college, possibly. Yeah, definitely an interesting one.
Yeah, but I mean,
And
the other thing too is he's not going to be there for long. But he is an old man. This was probably nobody in the NFL wanted me. This is an opportunity that I have, and not a lot of coaches coach both college and NFL well. His good friend Nick Saban couldn't make it in the NFL, so this could also be a kind of a let's try to do this for me. Let's be a great NFL coach and be a great college coach. We'll probably never know the full ins and outs of why he did this. And we don't
if you
know
can do what Dion's doing, I mean, I don't know the difference between North Carolina and Colorado. So, but I know Dion kind of pulled that school from out of the shithole a little. So,
yeah, and he could very well turn that school into a football powerhouse. So it's going to be fun to see. It's definitely going to be a pretty easy conference to turn around in. But let's go ahead and talk about next week NFL games. So Tato, are you ready?
I have one I'm still on the fence on, but I will stop us from saying anything if I haven't sat on it yet.
All right, sweet. Well, the first game that we will talk about is the Thursday night game. The Rams are traveling to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. Right now, the 49ers are 3-point favorites. And I must say, both these teams played very well last week. Both teams looked unbeatable last week. Both teams look like they had already clinched playoff spots and were just playing to have fun last week. I think these are two teams that had very high expectations going into this year. Haven't quite met expectations, but their season is nowhere near over, especially with the NFC West being pretty wide open. And so I fought pretty hard on this one too, but I am giving the edge to the Rams.
Well, the last time we bet against the Niners, it did not go well for me at all, or you. It went worse for me than it went for you for obvious reasons, but
yeah.
So I can't do that again. I'm gonna go with the Niners here.
I respect it. I went back and forth. Like I typed 49ers and deleted it, typed Rams, deleted it. I went back and forth a lot because they both played so well last week, and they both have been on really good trajectories. But now we go into the Sunday games. First game we'll be talking about the Ravens traveling to MetLife to take on the Giants. Ravens are 14-point favorites. Giants, the only team in the NFL to not win at home yet. I believe this is their last home game too. Let me double check. Okay, they have one more home game. But they are 0-7 right now. Ravens are 16-point favorites. I had that wrong. Tato, who's your pick on this one?
I'm gonna go with the Ravens. Antonio, I love you, buddy, but
last week I went very heavy on upsets. It did not go in my favor, but I'm feeling it today. No, I'm not feeling it. Giants remain winless at home. Ravens get the easy win. Next we have work hands. The Jets traveling to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. Jets are 3.5-point favorites. I'm going to go first on this one. This is an interesting game because both teams have nothing to play for except better draft pick. That being said, I don't think Aaron Rodgers can tank the rest of this season. I think he still has a little bit to prove of he still has something in the tank. And I don't think he's going to let that team lose the rest of their games. I think the Jets get the win here.
I came to the same conclusion as you ultimately. I don't like fucking picking either of these teams, but you got to pick one of them. I just basically Jets on the reasons you said.
Yeah. All right. Next, we have the Cowboys traveling to Carolina to take on the Panthers. Panthers are 3-point favorites. These are both teams that had very close games this last week and came up just a little bit short. One of them can't come up short this week, right? Taylor, who you got in this one?
This was the one that I was having trouble. I did come to a conclusion. I did some research. Bryce Young been doing okay. Panthers been in games they have no right being in. Said I wasn't going to do it. I'm going to take the Panthers.
All right.
It happened. It happened.
It definitely happened. So for me, this was kind of an interesting one because these are both teams I just don't like. These are teams that have been trashed this year, but they've been playing a little bit better, especially as of late. I'm a firm believer that benching Bryce for Andy Dalton was great because he's been playing very well since that happened. But if you look at the last like 5 or 6 games of the Dallas Cowboys, the reason they've been in it is because of their defense. Micah Parsons, ever since he's been back, he has kept them close, at least for the first half. A lot of their losses, it was one where just the second half they fell apart. And Cooper Rush has been playing pretty well also. He's a very formidable backup. He has really good weapons. And while I hate to say it, because I wish the Dallas Cowboys would just fall off the face of the earth, I have the Cowboys beating the Panthers this week.
Micah Parsons does have the advantage of one more minute of rest than every other player next week.
I don't get it.
He walked off the field early.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that part. So
Yeah.
I actually didn't watch most of Monday night's game. I have to work at that time.
Yeah, not a great look.
Yeah. Next we have the Commanders traveling to St. Louis. No. Traveling to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Oh, go away, little menu. I don't want to see you. The Commanders are 7.5-point favorites. Again, Derek Carr likely out for the season as he's only listed as questionable, but that's kind of what that hit looked like. I'm gonna go first on this one. Commanders just coming off that bye week, really late bye week, but they played well against Tennessee, and I think they're gonna play well against the Saints. Saints barely beat a really bad Giants team. Not going to have much luck against a really good Commanders team.
Yeah. I'm assuming you're picking Commanders. I will agree with you. And yeah, I got Commanders here.
All right. Next, we have the Bengals traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Bengals are 5-point favorites. Tato, what's your pick on this one?
I got the kitty cats.
All right. I think this one's going to be a little closer than a lot of people are expecting. I realize a 5-point spread isn't that big of a spread, but the Bengals definitely play who they're playing at the level of the team that they're playing, and so they have a lot of close games that shouldn't be that close. But their defense has been doing a little bit better. Granted, they're going to look great because they're playing the Titans, but the Titans still have like that weird, crazy good defense. Um, so I think it'll be close, but I do have the Bengals winning this one as well. Next, we have the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to Cleveland to take on the Browns. Chiefs are 4.5-point favorites. I'm going to go first on this one. It would make sense that they kind of start playing a little worse, start resting a little bit more because they just won the division. But that's going to start like next week because they're gonna play the Browns and they're gonna have their way with the Browns. Chiefs win pretty big on this one.
Yep. No, I can't pick the Panthers and against the Chiefs in 1 week. That's for damn sure. So Chiefs.
That would be a crazy week. That would be like what week 16 when all the crazy stuff happens.
Yeah, I mean week 18. If the Chiefs are resting in week 18 and the Panthers, I don't know who their week 18 opponent is. We'll see.
It's probably either the Saints, Buccaneers, or the Falcons.
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah. All right. Next, we have the Dolphins traveling to Houston to take on the Texans. Texans are 3-point favorites. Tato, what's your pick on this one?
Fuck you, Duffin. I've got Texans.
All right. This was another game I was pretty back and forth on because the Dolphins have been playing very well as of late. Granted, they had that really close game against the Jets, had that loss against Green Bay. But this is indoors, and they play well when it's either indoors or in the South. But the Texans are coming off that bye. So I think that little rest is going to give them the edge. And I also have the Texans. Next, we have the Steelers traveling to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Eagles are 5.5-point favorites. There's been some drama in Philadelphia between Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith. But everyone on the Eagles organization now is saying that Brandon Graham just misspoke. That's not the way. They pray, right? Like all three of them pray together right before the game starts. So I don't know how accurate that is. But also, as of note, the Steelers have not won in Philadelphia since like 1985. So does that drought keep going? I don't know. I have the Eagles. That's all I'm going to say, though. Tato, what's your pick?
I am going to throw it back in time and pick the Steagles. I think that's
that reference.
There we go. With that said, my actual pick will also be the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right. Now I have to scroll back down because ESPN has my favorite teams up at the front or up at the top. We have the Colts traveling to Denver to take on the Broncos. Broncos are 4-point favorites. Tato, what's your pick on this one?
I went with the larger of the horses, the Bronco. I think that's how that works. I don't actually know dick about horses.
I'm pretty sure that's how that works too. I'm pretty sure a Bronco is bigger than a Colt. Regardless, I'm going to go with the same. I think the Broncos have been on a nice little stretch. Bo Nix has been playing pretty well. Sean Payton proves why he is a good coach. And last year was kind of a fluke year. Weird year with Russell Wilson not being a good Bronco. Broncos win this game. Next, we have the Patriots traveling to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Cardinals are 6-point favorites. I'm going to go first on this one. And I'm not ready to say the Cardinals are a good team because I believe the Cardinals are a very bad team, but they play very well when they're playing very bad teams. And New England is a very bad team. So I have the Cardinals winning.
I will concur wholeheartedly, my good man.
I like it. All right. Our next game. This is a fun one. Maybe a Super Bowl preview. We shall see. The Buffalo Bills traveling to Detroit to take on the Lions. Lions are 2.5-point favorites. Tato, what's your pick on this one?
I might have to give this one more thought if it were in Buffalo, but I am going to give this to Detroit. I don't know where Dan Campbell keeps his testicles. Just yeah. I think they're the best team in football, and goddamn it, why the hell not do crazy ass shit?
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure. So Nick Sirianni has, I believe his name is Big Sal, head of security, always right behind him, and he's like the guy who kind of calms down Nick Sirianni. I'm sure Dan Campbell has a guy always standing behind him, but his only job is to hold the cart that holds Dan Campbell's testicles. Again, 4th and 1. You are tied. It is the fourth quarter. You are in your opponent's territory. Easy field goal range. But they went for it. I have the Lions winning as well. Again, I give it a little more thought if it was in Buffalo or even a neutral site game. But the Lions are clicking on all cylinders. I don't like the Bills defense as much as a lot of people like the Bills defense. I really like the Lions 1-2 punch with Sonic and Knuckles. So give me the Lions. Our last of the Sunday afternoon games, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are now in the lead of their division, traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. Chargers are 3-point favorites. I'm going to go first on this one. I like this Buccaneers team. This has been a very scary good Buccaneers team. Even when Mike Evans and Chris Godwin were both out, like Baker just kept winning for some weird reason. But this is one of the best defenses playing football right now. They held Kansas City to 19 points. And Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes is great. He's phenomenal. But they held him to 19 points. I don't like Justin Herbert that much. I realize I'm weird to say that, but I do not like Justin Herbert that much. But the Buccaneers defense, not as good as the Chargers defense. I have the Chargers winning this one.
Yeah, I also have the Chargers. You know, Harbaugh's been doing good for me, both of them. So keep it rolling.
Yes. And then our Sunday night game, we have the Green Bay Packers traveling to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Packers are 3-point favorites. Tato, what's your pick on this one?
Dear God, I hope Jay gets to rub this one in my face. I will pick the Packers.
I too hope Jay gets to rub this in your face. I'm picking the Seahawks.
Bitch beyond.
And the only reason why is because I have liked the Seahawks defense as of late, and Jordan Love struggles against good defenses. We will go to our Monday night games. That's right, I said games. We got 2 of them. The first one, the Bears are traveling to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Vikings are 7-point favorites. I'm gonna go first on this one. I'll still say we're on pumpkin watch for Sam Darnold. But fun fact with Sam Darnold, he just has to throw the ball just forward, and Justin Jefferson's going to catch it. Aaron Jones is good at running the ball. He torches the Bears like every time he plays them. And the Vikings 6-1 at home. The Bears 0-6 on the road. I have the Vikings winning. Tato, what's your pick?
I will go with the Minnesota Vikings.
All right. And then our final game, the Falcons are traveling to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. Falcons are 4-point favorites. Raiders eliminated from playoff contention. Falcons are fighting for their division. Tato, who's your pick on this one?
Yeah, I mean, when you got when you got a team right in the middle of the fight and a team with nothing to play for at this point in the season, you just kind of got to go with the Falcons.
So we say that. But the Falcons losing this game would be a very Falcons thing to do.
It would.
And I want to give it to the Raiders. I want to. But I can't. I have to give it to the Falcons just because I don't know why. Because that's how the coin landed. We'll go with that. I don't trust the Raiders. I'm pretty sure Desmond Ridder's going to have to start this game. So they'll have no offense. That defense can be fun at some points, but they'll have no offense. And it's really hard to win a game when you have no offense. So there we go. I have the Falcons. And with that, those are our picks. We are different on 3. Yeah, we are different on 3. So we could end this week tied.
Yeah, I definitely need to get 2 here, I think. I don't think I can come out of this one losing.
Yeah. It's been a while since we've been tied, Tato. Before week 1 started. That was the last time we were tied.
Yes.
But any thoughts before we sign off?
Football.
That is a good thought. Well, thank you so much for watching. Please give me a comment. Who is the next great NFL coach to go to college? Because we just saw Bill Belichick do it.
Rodney
Who's going to be
Dangerfield.
the next one? Who's going to be the next one? I think Andy Reid. But that's just my thoughts. Please like, subscribe, leave another comment, follow us on Facebook, follow Lights Out Trivia on Facebook and YouTube, and be nice, make smart choices, wash your hands, or don't, because I really don't care. I'm not your dad, but I could be.